All right, this is just a quick review from Math 10 on how to write the primary trig ratios for a given angle. And thinking back to Math 10, to write your trig ratios, we want to think of SOHCAHTOA. Right, so meaning sine, opposite over hypotenuse, cos meaning for CA meaning adjacent over hypotenuse, and then TOA representing tan for opposite over adjacent. So remember, your trig ratios is the relationship between two sides of a triangle, of a right triangle. So if I'm working with angle A in this first triangle, and I wanted to simply write the trig ratios for each of these, well, the sine ratio would simply be the opposite side, which would be 5. 9.4 would be my hypotenuse, and 8 would be my adjacent. I would take 5 over 9.8. So I'm not calculating anything on my calculator. I'm not actually calculating the size of the angle. I'm just stating the ratio, which would be 5 over 9.4. This would represent my ratio. And we're done. So the cosine ratio of angle A would be 8 over 9.4, because the relationship there is adjacent over hypotenuse. And the tangent ratio of angle A would be opposite, which is 5 over the adjacent, which is 8. And you're done. Those are the trig ratios. Okay, so moving on to question B, same sort of idea. If we're referring to angle A, 15 would be the opposite, 16.6 would be my hypotenuse, and 7 would be my adjacent. So if I wanted to talk about these trig ratios, I'd take sine of A is opposite over 16.6. Now remember, a ratio can always be written as a fraction, in this case 15 over 16.6, or it can be written as a decimal. And as a decimal, this ratio would represent 0.9036 approximately. Okay? So remember, a decimal or a fraction, it doesn't matter. This number or this fraction is representing a relationship between the opposite and the hypotenuse side of a right angle triangle. Same with cos of A would be 7 over 16.6. And that would work out to be a decimal of 0.4217. And then our tangent ratio would be 15 over 7, opposite over adjacent, which would work out to a decimal of 2.1429 approximately. Okay, so just keep in mind that a trig ratio is again representing the relationship between two sides of a right angle triangle. It can be written as a fraction or as a decimal.